Hey guys, Mike here. Wanted to show you the shelving I put in before I mentioned the storage unit thing. Expanded from the two walls there and put on the third. The top three shelves there were the DVDs I got at that auction, and it was pretty much full. I mean, it was full to the point where I couldn't really squeeze a whole lot in there. So we sold a lot of DVDs, which is awesome. The last pay period we had on Amazon was almost $1,000. So we really been killing it there. So yeah, just wanted to give you an update there. The DVDs are selling really good. Got the shelving up on the wall here, and also wanted to mention the VHS tapes we've been selling pretty good too. It it just never ceases to amaze me. People still buy those, but hey, I don't mind. So don't overlook those. The only problem is you got to buy 1,000 of them to find 200 to sell. So it's kind of a pain in the butt. So, but anyway, I wasn't really planning on talking about that. Let's get on to the storage unit thing. Alrighty guys, on to the meat of the video. Today's video is going to be about storage unit auctions, or the one I went to over the weekend. Actually last weekend. I was looking around, I was short on inventory. I guess I should start off. I've made a goal. I'll tell you what it is. For some of you, you'll think it's a pretty lofty goal, and others of you, if you're doing this full time, you'll think it's pretty small. But for me, it's going to be, I think I can accomplish it. It's going to take some hard work. And that is to have $12,000. I'm basically at zero right now because I went to a storage unit auction and had some other irons in the fire, so I'm really starting from scratch right now. And my goal is to have $12,000 in my business account before January 1st, which is, excuse me, this is September, early September, second week of September, first week of September. So it's about $3,000 a month, and for me, like I said, that's working pretty darn hard. But my wife's in on it. She's going to be doing a lot of packing and really taking care of that part of it, so I can really focus on just doing the listing and procuring the inventory. So yeah, I'll keep you informed on how that goes. But I wanted to talk about the storage unit thing. Last weekend, or the weekend before, I was looking around. I was trying to find an auction. I needed some inventory, and I was really limited on the times I could go. So long story short, I decided, what the heck, I'll go to a storage unit auction. And it was interesting. I pulled in there thinking, it's kind of in the country a little bit, thinking maybe there won't be a whole lot of people there. I pulled in, there must have been, no exaggeration, I was number 69, my card, and there were people coming in behind me. And there was already at least 100 people there. There were people there just to watch. I mean, it was like a spectator sport. It was ridiculous. And it was kind of comical. Not only were there a ton of people there, but when the bidding started, you could tell clearly that a lot of people were really influenced by this Storage Wars thing on TV. And that's kind of, I'll just tell you up front, that's sort of the point of the video I want to do. Is, as far as I can see on my limited experience of the one I went to, is that it's still kind of crazy in that area. I can go to a regular estate sale, or whatever, all those auctions. I mean, when I go to estate auctions, and the crowds have been steady since I can remember, the 10 years I've been doing this. And going to this storage unit sale, it seemed like it was just a mania. I mean, people were bidding like crazy. You had 4 or 5 guys there bidding it. I almost had to laugh. I mean, it actually looked like they were auditioning for a storage unit show. It's like they thought there were hidden cameras somewhere, and they were just getting wild and trying to have these over-the-top personalities. It was comical. And I'm just taking in this spectacle thinking, what on earth have I gotten myself into? So I did buy a unit. It was a really big unit. I think it was one of the bigger ones they had. It was at least 10 feet wide, and it was 20 feet deep, and it was packed. I mean, it was packed from, they opened the door, and there were boxes from the very front all the way to the ceiling, well, maybe about a foot from the ceiling, and it was that all the way back. So I already kind of determined I was going home with that. When there's a big box of DVDs, clear tub, you could see up there full of DVDs, and there was a couple boxes of Lionel old, I think post-war, probably 50s, I guess, Lionel metal trains, O-gauge, standard gauge, whatever you call them. And so I thought, alright, there's got to be a ton of money worth of stuff, a ton of Yeah, ton of money worth of stuff in there. And so I bid on it, wound up getting it for $1,000, which I wasn't real happy about. But you know, that as crazy as it was that day, I probably should have walked away. But I thought, you know, heck, $1,000, I'll find something in there. And as soon as I won it, I wasn't even interested in the rest of the units. I just wanted that unit. So I got that unit. I went back to the office, squared up, brought my truck around, figured I'd just get one load in, take it home. No sooner did I have the gate up that than I had a lady with her son looking over my shoulder, telling me to pull different pieces out. There's a piece of furniture there, and she wanted me to pull that out and pull the drawers out so she could see it, because she's such a big fan of the Storage Unit or Storage Wars show that she really wanted to see what kind of treasures were in these drawers. It was sickening, guys. I don't know what to tell you, except for, if you be careful of storage things. My opinion is that's too much of a mania. I may still do some here and there, but that experience scared me away. I think maybe another couple years would be good to let that cool down. But I got the unit for $1,000. As soon as I started getting into it, I was like, oh brother, what have I done? Junk, just complete junk. First few boxes I looked in, I was like, oh man. And you know, I've got my business partner and I have 16 units in rental properties. And we've cleared out a lot of apartments. You know, people just get up and leave for whatever reason. They just leave their stuff and you clear it out. So I know what trash, you know, the kind of junk that people just who don't have money have in their house, and they pack it all up, and everything you look at, you're like, why do they even have this? Why, much less, why did they pay to store this? Is kind of the items we ran into. So I borrowed a neighbor's trailer, so I had my trailer, his trailer, and two cars, one a small station wagon and another Ford Expedition, and we made, I think, 7 trips. I mean, that's how much stuff was in this. It's unbelievable. We're about halfway through it. It's taken us a week just to get halfway through it. I put half of it already through, or not half of it, maybe a quarter or a third, I would say. And we got that through a local auction. Went over Friday night to watch it sell, and we got there late, so we only saw the last end of it. And I was just kind of tallying in my head the stuff, and I had $180 in my head that they had sold of ours. And no way it was even half of it. So I'm thinking, all right, well, you know, we get $400 out of that, and we have at least another load. Probably, we might even have 2 solid additional loads to take to the auction just to get rid of that stuff. So I'll probably make my money back just on that. So I'm not going to lose money. And then, of course, I'll have, you know, I've got tubs of things I want to research for eBay, but nothing special. We were talking just $5 or $10 crap, nothing at all special. And I should keep it clean, and I won't tell you everything I found in that unit, but there was a good chunk of pornography in there, and you should have seen the look on my wife's face when she found a few things in there. It's worth the comic value right there. I mean, but it's really funny what you find in there. I mean, you know, I'm a big fan of Glendon Cameron. I think he's apparently a really good guy. I think he's got a lot of really good, useful information. I know there's some detractors out there. I'm a fan of his, and it's funny watching his stuff because he's got so much experience with that. And then just the one unit I went through, pop open a box and there's porn, and I'm just laughing because he's saying you're always going to find porn. Another box, there's prescription drugs. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like going by the script. One really cool thing I found, I'm not saying it's worth a lot of money, but to me it was really cool, and it's possible it's worth a lot of money, was a box. I mean, you know, like a 3-foot long box by a foot wide, you know, a foot tall, full of a guy named Thomas, oh gosh, that was a bizarre car full of people that just drove by. This is horrible. Now I can't remember his name. I think it's Clarence Thomas, but don't quote me on that. But anyway, an original from the Golden Age, they call it, of the Drifters. That, you know, everybody's heard of the Drifters. And it's just packed full of his promo materials, t-shirt, hat. It's pretty cool. It's got bunches of paperwork from all of his gigs, how much he's paying his band members. It even has a thick folder full of all the litigation that he apparently went through with some other member or the original, whoever's got the rights to that name, where he was awarded the ability and the judge ruled in his favor that he could use the Drifter's name. So I did a quick research of that, and there's some people selling promo photos of him trying to get 20 bucks on eBay. I don't know if they're going to get it or not, but I've got hundreds and hundreds of that stuff. I mean, you know, packets full of photos that I guess a photographer he hired a shot of his concerts and sent him, and he had. So I've got tons of that stuff. So who knows, that might be all right. But overall, it's a bunch of junk. We're about halfway through, I would say, maybe, and I don't know if I'll do it again. I'll just have to keep you guys posted. Like I said, I'm not worried about getting my money back. Pretty clearly through the auctions, you know, the local auctions I have, that's going to happen. And then I'm really not sure what I'll get for the things I've set aside for the eBay portion of it. But it's a pain. I mean, we're talking 2 trailerfuls and 2 carload fulls already went to the dump. 2 trailerfuls and 2 carload full already went to the local auction. I've got a storage shed that's probably 8 feet deep at this point with the stuff to the ceiling. It's just the amount of work it takes to do storage units is mind-boggling. So I'm not so sure I'm going to continue, but I'm not so sure I won't. So anyway, I just wanted to update you guys and let you know that I got into that. I'll let you know the DVDs went really well, and I'll keep you posted on the storage units thing as I go along, and as whether or not I'll decide to keep moving with that. But the overriding thing I wanted to mention, and the whole point of making this video, is it was nuts. People were crazy. People thought they were auditioning for a show. I mean, it was madness. I mean, it was mania. I couldn't believe it. It was to the point of being completely comical, and that can't be a good thing. It's like a bubble. You know, the storage unit bubble is in full bloom, and I don't know if I want to be a part of that, because there's a whole lot of money to be spent there, and I could better use that money in places that aren't so crazy. And then when the storage unit thing dies down, then kind of going into that. Oh, and another thing I want to mention that I noticed just right off the bat. I think Lendon's, I don't know, he said one thing I thought that was really great, stuck with me. The more you do, the luckier you get. That's true with anything. But in my opinion, with the storage units, you know, when I go to a regular auction, I can survey everything there. I know what I'm buying. I know I'm going to make money, or I can at least reasonably expect I can. Now, I'm not saying there's skill or science involved in the storage unit thing, but you know, let's be realistic here. You're looking at an open storage locker full of boxes or whatever. You don't know what's in there. You can hope you know, you can guess, you may see a thing or two and get your price points, and on that, but it's a gamble. And if you gamble on one unit and lose, you can lose bad and knock yourself out of the game. So the point I'm sorry, I'm making a short story long. The point I wanted to make is, it looks to me like if you're going to get into the storage thing, if you're in for a penny, get in for a pound. Because if you buy 5 storage units and you find a couple really bad ones, who cares? You've got some good ones. It's all going to work out. But if you just buy one here and there, man, you're going to lose at some point, and it's going to hurt. Now, having said that, I would consider the unit I got really bad, and we're still going to make our money back on it somehow, so, you know, whatever. But yeah, storage unit thing, even if you're not interested in it, I would say go find a storage unit auction and just watch. It's comical. It's amazing how crazy it is still, at least at this one. So that's it. Please rate, subscribe, leave comments, and have a good evening, day, morning, whatever it is. Take care.